So what's going on, guys? You're back with Brandon, the Apex Gaming channel, and I'm bringing you a new in the lab video. This is more like not so much a tips and tricks to teach you some new stuff, but just kind of give you some information on some things, because this came up in the comment section of one of my more recent videos, and I started to answer it, but I just decided that because it was so much to unpack that it deserved kind of a discussion video, because it was going to be a long ass comment. Basically, I was going to have to spill my heart in order to get this point across. So I just wanted to show this in a discussion video because it's a little bit more open forum, give me a little bit more room to talk, a little more room to breathe, create. So first off the chain, the game, I was showing that the opponent was spamming the Taekwondo kicks, and to me, first off, that is a net positive for the game because it adds a layer of fluidity to striking that hasn't been in any MMA game to date. It adds that almost variability of real life, like that almost, if a guy misses this, he might do that. Somebody throws a head kick, but he misses, he might come around and spin it back fist. That is a net positive, but it's the implementation that to me is flawed. So with this video, I want to kind of walk through the things that lead to this being unhealthy with the way it's currently designed. So we're going to jump into that, and we're going to start off with each section. We're going to break it up. We're going to break it down into sections. That way it's easy to digest. So we'll start off. So first off, we want to talk about the range. So as you see, I'm in strike recording mode. We're going to talk about the range that combos like this bring into the game, and whether or not that's a healthy range. So basically, let's take a look at the Thai kick first. Let's break it down with the Thai kick first. Just a simple roundhouse kick, open roundhouse kick, right? That pretty much from stationary. Okay, let's go to where max range, where it will hit from stationary, like the max distance it'll hit from, close enough to the opponent. About right here, right there. That's about where it will hit from. It won't hit from there. It won't slide in the range. Let's go ahead and slide forward a little bit, just a little touch, but it will hit from here. His feet kind of slid a little bit to compensate, but this is where it will hit from. That's a pretty good bit of range if you think about it in terms of real life. Like how big of a look at their lead feet. There's at least a yard between them, at least a foot and a half on each side until it hits the middle, and then 3 feet. So it's about 3 feet of distance between these two people. Like their arms won't reach, but their legs will. So basically, that's just the general range of this. The inside body kick altogether is about 3 feet, give or take. So it's pretty good range. I mean, that's really far. I mean, it's even farther than it probably should be, but that's the range that the body kick starts off with. So just out of the pocket, that lead body kick has that much range. So let's take a look at how much range it has once you start moving with that kick. So if it lands from about right here, which is pretty far, let's go ahead and step him back and try the forward moving kick. The forward moving kick will hit from there. Now let's try to find the max distance that the forward moving kick will hit from. Not there. Not there. Okay, cool. So about right here. Okay, cool. So that's probably max range for the forward moving kick, right? Pretty good distance. There's at least 6 feet between the people, and it covers that distance in pretty quick succession, right? It covers a pretty good distance, right? So let's take a look at the spin kick as well. Let's look at that one just to see the max range it'll hit from on its own, just naked spin kick. I think what's the input for it? Okay, yeah. It's R1, L1, R2. And it'll hit from about the same amount of distance, give or take. So let's look at the max range of this whole entire series. So if I were to be, say, right here where the camera starts to change. Okay, back up. Okay, buddy, calm down. Right before the camera changes, let's step in right before the camera changes over. So right before the camera changes, we're gonna go roundhouse, and then we're gonna try to go roundhouse, we're gonna try to go spinning kick. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. That's the kick coming from the maximum distance, with the body kick still landing, the rear spinning kick still landing. So I basically threw it from where the camera starts to adjust. Like the camera adjusts when the characters get too far away. So basically, this combo can land from where the camera is no longer able to touch the player, whether or not the lead kick is moving or whether or not the rear kick is moving. So either way, lead kick moving, rear kick moving, it can land from that distance, which is, it's crazy because the camera is like out of focus at that point. So even if you go lead kick wide open, well, it didn't really do the moving kick that time, but lead kick wide open, moving kick. Let's bring him back. We're gonna move him back to the center of the octagon. We'll take another look at it one more time, but this time we're gonna try to throw the lead kick stationary, and then the spin kick moving. It's not really gonna let me do it too well, which is kind of good. It's good for discovery to know that you can't throw the stationary lead kick into the moving rear kick. That's kind of good for discovery purposes. I'm pretty sure that's how it works up close. Oh, I don't know about that. I was about to say I don't know if that's how it works up close, but from max range, it doesn't work. From max distance, it won't let you do it, but from a more manageable range, it will let you throw that kick spinning. It will let you whiff this and then move forward on the spinning kick, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. You can whiff here and then boom, out of nowhere, you move 4 feet of distance coming out of a movement that I don't feel is feasible to say that you'll be moving after. So to be honest, like, I don't know how many people in my comment section actually train or have thrown kicks in their life. It's pretty hard to throw a kick, wait for it to miss, and then gather momentum as you spin to throw the next kick. I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever struck before can attest to the fact that it is really hard to just gain momentum and like lunge yourself if you're throwing a kick over and then another kick after the kick. So that's a bit of an issue. Okay, so we discussed range in that last section. The overall range of the kick, it give or take, it's about 3 feet for each kick to land naked, just moving towards the opponent. And it could be done if the kicks are done from max range, as long as the forward moving kicks, you're using forward moving kicks, you can do it from where the camera changes perspective, and the body kick, the rear body kick will still land, which is covering, I don't know, maybe 10 feet in real life. That's about 10 feet of distance. So it's a pretty crazy amount of distance to travel. But we're gonna break into the next section, which is more so to talk about the variability of the attack. So with the variability attack, I kind of showed a little bit of it in the last section, the fact that the kick can whiff and you can still throw the spin kick out of it. But that same thing is true on block as well. So when you're going to block, okay, apparently it's changing, it's selecting sides for whatever reason. I don't know what's wrong with this game. Like when I reset practice mode, now I'm not like leaving the practice, but I'm like resetting it. It's changing which player I'm controlling. So I'm controlling Aldo by choice. So I'm Aldo. So we want to show the variability of the attack. We already showed that on whiff, the spin kick can still come out. Basically, you just whiff and it'll still hit as well. So we already showed that. But the same thing is true on block and on hit. So obviously on hit, it's supposed to be that way because that's the point. When you hit him with 2 kicks. Wow, that's obvious, right? But should that be the case on whiff? Should that be the case on block is the question. So basically, any other fighting game, if you have a combination, most times combos can combo through a block. That's kind of normal. But there's always some sort of stun that it applies to the other person's block. And in this case, this is true as well. So if I were to throw, well, let me go back to record. Throw a combo on all those block, boom, boom. Okay, recording off, let's go to playback. Fully playback, okay, boom, boom, on block. All right, cool. So basically on block in this game, you block both kicks, boom, boom. It takes a pretty good bit of like the damage off the kicks. So you really don't feel it much. Your block doesn't really feel it much. Your body doesn't really feel it much. It takes a lot out of it, right? So it's kind of like the best option. And because you're blocking, you're kind of limiting your opponent's ability to do anything to you. So, but on block, it does hit and it carries through. So it doesn't stop. So if you block this kick, basically, like you see an opponent coming, you think that he's gonna do this, you block the first kick. Do not start mashing buttons because you don't have an option. You will get hit with that second kick. That will happen. There is no fighting that feeling, So once you hit that kick, that's your only option. Like that's your best guess right there. Hold on, buddy. He didn't switch stances. I gotta go back to recording on. Switch your stance. Go back to playback. Oh wait, nope. Okay. Anyway, the point is proven. I'll show it again. I'll go to recording. I'll switch your stances. I'll turn that on and off. No, stop. Oh my goodness. Strike recording is a pain in the neck sometimes. All right, cool. Turn it on, off. Go this, boom, boom. Now we're gonna go to playback. We'll block it. That's probably your best bet. And I still took a little bit of body damage because I had to open up to the speed. So that's probably your best bet in that situation. So basically, I showed off the variability that these kicks work on block, on hit, and on whiff. So you're very limited into your approach. But I did kind of show one little glimpse of a counter, and that was to throw the low kick off the block of the body kick, and it sweeps them off their feet. This is something that you probably won't be thinking about doing at the moment because, once again, all of this stuff kind of plays into each other. You know, the range that it covers, you know, all that kind of plays into itself. So it shows you a little bit of the upper level strategy because the range is so fast. But as we break through this video, we'll break down the different points and we'll kind of get to that. But you see that there is a real chance of you getting caught by surprise by this because it doesn't necessarily have to work. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to hit in order to work. You can throw that jump from there. He can be, you know, moving at this distance, miss this one, and still come out and surprise your ass. Like, you know, he could be right here. You can be like, I missed, psych, and then still catch you with that kick. And I think it also works with the high kick as well. He can miss here and then throw it high, foul right in the face. So you're thinking low, or you're thinking body kick, and then he just bam right in the face. You know what I'm talking about? So there is that, and it does present that because it can be done on hit, on whiff, and on block. It does open him up to some fairly interesting situations that kind of put you in a place where you have to do the right thing every single time it happens. So let's go ahead and break into the next section, and we'll talk about some more things. Okay, so for the next section, we want to talk about the stamina cost of the attacks and how move levels play into that. So let's just take a look at it right offhand. We're going to show the stamina for when this attack hits. We're going to show the stamina cost for when this attack is hit on block, and we're going to show the stamina cost for when this attack is done on whiff. So I'm going to have to rotate him to try to get the stamina. Okay, there we go. Stamina bar in the dark. There we go. Good look. So we're going to do this on hit, which will be the easiest one to do. We'll do this on block, and we'll do this on whiff. So you can see the amount of stamina being used when these things are done. That's on hit. That's on block. That's on whiff. Okay, so you kind of see how much current and then max stamina is used on hit, on whiff, and on block just from that little quick demonstration. That doesn't give you a long-term, doesn't show you the long-term residual effects that has, but it shows you like a snapshot of how much it uses when in the perfect situation, done at the beginning of a fight, before anything has happened. It shows you kind of that. Okay, so what we're gonna talk, why we're showing it the way we're showing it is because I want to talk about move levels. So let's take a look at Zabit's move list. Zabit Magomedsharipov, let's go to his kicks. I don't know why I always press R2 first. I assume that that's the way it goes. So the lead body kick he has is a level 2. So it uses 5% less stamina than if someone were to have a level 1 body kick. So he's already at an advantage by throwing the body kick and it being such a high level. And it also does more damage, but that's not really what I want to talk about. Talk about the fact that it's using 5% less stamina. It's a double buff. Move levels in this game are all benefit, no consequence. It's kind of weird to have a double buff on top of something. I can understand if like move level from 1 to 2 was the stamina cost, and then move level from 2 to 3, it had the same stamina cost as 2, but it did more damage or whatever, or it had a lesser stamina cost but did more damage. You know what I'm saying? Like if move level 5 is the hardest version of the kick, should it use the least amount of stamina to throw as well as be the hardest version of the kick, like the most damaging version? I don't agree that that's the case. In my mind, buffs and nerfs need to be equally separated. So basically move levels in this game work, they're double buffs. Look at this. So if you throw this leg kick, it uses 13% less stamina than any leg kick level 1, like level 2. It uses 13% less stamina, but also does 12% added to the base damage. So it's the hardest version of the kick. It's not faster, it's the same animation, but it's the hardest version of the kick, and it does most damage, but it uses less stamina. In reality, if I'm throwing a harder kick, I'm using more energy because I'm throwing the kick harder. It should be faster and hit harder, but not use less stamina because I'm still using my leg to throw a kick. So to me, that's a double buff, and it's not balanced. It's not a balanced buff. It's just a double buff for no reason. So having higher level move levels, which has been the case in UFC 2 and 3, having the move levels work this way. They've worked the same way since 2 and 3. It's a double buff, and that's just not. It makes it adds too many like little wrinkles to things that don't need to be there. It's just too much meta. I said it in my video why I don't play UFC. It's just meta on top of meta on top of meta. This is another situation where it's like a double buff on something that's already good. It's already good on its own, and then now it has a double buff. It does leg kicks do incredible damage in this game. That's not the point. I mean, I'm just saying that they do incredible damage in this game, but then it has a double buff on top of it. It takes less energy to throw, and it uses more. It does more damage. Now, if anything, I can argue for a single buff on each. If you have a quicker leg kick that, say there was a leg kick in the game called quick leg kick, it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't hurt you, and it's a level 4. Say you have a level 4 quick leg kick. It's not very damaging. It doesn't have a damage increase. It hits you just about as hard as anything else, but it has a stamina benefit. It's the quicker kick, it's thrown faster, and it costs less stamina because you're throwing it quicker. You're getting in and out of there faster. You know what I'm saying? It's a quicker kick. It's not a power kick. You're not stepping, crossing your body, throwing your full weight into the kick. It's quicker. So it has the stamina cost modifier, but then you have the power leg kick, which at the higher levels has a damage based modifier. If the move level was indicative of what the strike is, that would be a better system than just having a double buff on top of something. But that was the point I wanted to make about move levels. We're going to break into the next section, which is to talk about the, we'll just break into the next section. So with this next section, I wanted to talk about the frames of the attack, stationary versus moving. So let's take a look at the way this kick series looks. I don't really need him blocking anymore. Let's take a look at the way this kick series looks stationary. Okay, cool. We got that. We got that on record. That's the kicks. Boop, boop. We're doing it with the stamina bar full. That's how many frames it takes. Boop. Oh wait, I did the wrong kick. Let's take a look at it again. With the meter full. I hate that the background got so much white in it. It makes it really hard to see your stamina HUD. Cool, there we go. So now let's look at it moving. Okay, it's a little slower. If the first kick misses, it's a little slower. But let's take a look at it moving with it landing like it did the first time. All right, so I'm gonna put those side by side, and you tell me in the comment section if there's a discernible difference in speed between the stationary with both hitting or the moving with both hitting, because realistically to me, there's not that big of a difference in frames. So seeing the attack coming is harder because there's not much difference between the way the kick looks boom naked or boom moving. It hits barely behind where it would hit if it was stationary. So there is no real reason for a person to throw this from range. I mean, throw this in range because the amount of speed it can cover at the amount of distance. So, okay, so let's take another look at it. We'll take another look at it stationary. We'll take another look at it moving just real quick. So we're gonna look at it stationary from the range, like the max range you'll hit from. Cool, that's stationary. That's max range stationary. Let's look at max range moving. I'm gonna put those side by side as well. Let me know if you see a discernible difference between max range stationary and max range moving, because to me, I don't see a difference, which is what leads to that kick being easier to mask. Because it's really once you see the character moving, you have to kind of make an assessment of what's gonna be. Because just take a look at the max range moving body kick, boom. Now let's take a look at the max range moving head kick on the same side. By the time you see the attack, it's already at the point where you're gonna be hit by the attack. So by the time you see it, it's already at that point. Yeah, so by the time the foot is starting to elevate, it's already at the point where you're not exactly sure where the attack is going. It's not a noticeable difference. I mean, maybe there's like a slight nuance of difference. If you're looking at the character's hands, you can kind of tell where the kick's going. You know, instead of looking at his legs on a kick, you look at his hand. Because when he throws the middle kick, his hand stays pretty low. For the high kick, the hand goes high first. So that's kind of like your tell on the middle kick. I don't know if that's the case on the other side. Yeah, it's the case on the other side as well. So high, his hand goes up first. Middle, his hand goes down. Or his hand, well, no, I don't know. The middle kick, his hand kind of goes up as well. His hand kind of goes to the same height on the rear kick. Yeah, his hand on the rear kick is the same. So it's really not a tell for the rear side. But for the lead side, it's a tell. You see the hand go kind of low. That's the body kick. You see the hand go high. It's the head kick. So do with that information what you will. I mean, do with that information what you will. Okay, so now that we're past the framework and all that other stuff, we're gonna look at the defensive options that this gives you. I'm gonna switch sides actually, so I can be Aldo in this situation. Let's take a look at the defensive options that you're given. We're gonna show what it looks like when we're gonna show the amount of blocks done and trying to attack on punish after blocking both attacks. That's what we're gonna show first. So we're gonna make him land them moving forward. Boom, boom, just for recording purposes. Boom, boom. We're gonna try to fire something off. Well, actually, I did that wrong. So we're gonna make him record it, and we're gonna test that versus his blocking, right? We're gonna test that versus his recovery. We'll make him throw boop, boop, and have him block and walk away at the same time. And we're gonna block that and try to recover. So as you can tell, blocking is not the wave, because the second kick has blowback on it, and the blowback is as long as the block's done. So by the time you actually are able to move again, he is nowhere around you, not even close. There's no two ways about it. You can't perfect block it. I mean, unless he's like in that situation where it forces him to throw the shorter version of the spin kick, it does kind of put you in a good situation. If you can somehow barrel through the body kick and get close enough, which you really can't because there's pushback on the body kick as well. It's cartoonish, but there is pushback. You see my character gliding backwards? Let's go ahead and move him off the wall. Go ahead and move him off the wall. And we're gonna put him back on playback. Okay, he's not gonna play it back. Okay, gotcha. There it goes. So right there, you can't really tell the pushback. I'm gonna just keep walking forward, barreling in as he starts to kick, so I can try to see if I can push through it and maybe land something on a counter. No, you can't. You can catch the kick. Obviously, that's gonna be the best option. But catching kicks is a little different since they changed the way kicks work and move levels. So you can't catch the spin kick. You can catch the front kick. So like, boom, I can catch that. Well, I didn't catch it there, but let's go ahead and catch it here. Damn, it's kind of awkward to catch kicks. Yeah, when the move levels change, they made it to where move levels affect the way kicks catch. Let me actually back up too far to where he can't do it, so he gets his stamina back, because the practice mode AI is kind of check that. So you can't catch spin kicks. They took that out. But you can catch lead kicks, which I can't catch right now because I just can't. I don't know why. I'm doing it like in a weird timing or something. It's just not easy to catch them anymore. They did go in and make it to where higher level move kicks were harder to catch, but that's only level 2, so that really shouldn't be the case. It might have just moved where the window is to catch the kick. I have to catch it later in the animation, and I'm trying to catch it as soon as I detect the kick, which is the way kick catching works in my mind. As soon as I know where it's going, I try to catch it. But I think, I don't know, whatever it is, the way you catch it is different now than it ever was. But catching it is going to be your best option. Or the other thing that I showed earlier was to throw the leg kick to stop the spin kick. That's probably your best counter in that situation on block, because you're not going to get anything else off on block. Like, nothing else is going to work. So the leg kick is like the lead leg kick, maybe even a lead high kick. I'm not exactly sure. Let me go ahead and try to change the stances and then re-record the series, and then have him walk off the block. Okay, cool. So the playback, I'm gonna try. Well, either leg kick actually works. Either leg kick stops the movement. Let's go ahead and redo this again. We're gonna try a high kick here. We're gonna block. We're gonna block the body kick, throw a high kick. Nope, he's too close. Maybe if he does it stationary. Let's try it stationary. Pop, pop. Nope, that was not good. It didn't hit. Okay, cool. Stationary. Let's go ahead and try to see if we can get a K kick off. Play back on. Oh shit, good hit. Not really, no. You're too close. And by the time our head kick starts to draw up, he's already mid-spin. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's not realistic. And he's even at low stamina, so he's like at the slowest point in his animation, and you still don't have enough time to lick your leg. Yeah, you don't have enough time. Even trying to cheat the system, try to go to the side, you're pretty much fucked. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, so with that said, with that shown, we showed the block. Let's go ahead and look at what happens if you try to duck or like duck or like backdash the first kick and try to punish off of that. Because ducking reduces damage to the body. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but You take a kick while ducking, you just take a lot less damage than if you took that kick standing straight up and down. It just does. I don't know why. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense, because when you duck, you contract. Like when you duck, you contract your abs, so it does make you more tight from ducking, but that also makes you more vulnerable. I don't know how many times you've been kicked in the body or punched in the body. When you duck down and get kicked in the body, it sucks worse than if you were standing straight up and down, tightening your abs. It just sucks worse. You get punched in the body while you're kind of like hunched over. That's why boxers, when they get close together, they'll hunch down, and then that's when the body punch is like most viable, because it just hurts more. It puts you at risk because you're so close. The uppercut to the chin is there, but it just hurts more. It's worth it. It's worth the trade-off. So, but in this game, it's different. Ducking reduces the damage. So if you're ducking forward, the kick does less damage. Punches do less damage. They just do. It's easy to tell too, because you look at the stamina bar, you look at the health bar, it's barely affected if you're ducking. It's almost like the kick didn't exist. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna record him doing the series again. We're gonna duck the first kick and try to come up with something before he can get the second kick up, punching wise, striking wise. I don't really care about grappling. I hate grappling in this game, so I never really work on I never really try to like impart my knowledge of what grappling should be in this game, because I just don't like the way the grappling is in this game entirely. So I just cut that out, cut the middleman out, and just go straight for striking, because I like the striking to a degree, especially by comparison to grappling in this game. If it comes down to it, I'm gonna strike before I grapple. It's just is what it is. So let's take a look at it. We're gonna record him doing it. Bop, bop. We got the recording. Actually, I want him to recover. I want him to block. So we're gonna make him do it again. Bop, bop. Got him blocking. So you saw when he started blocking. Bop, bop. See when he starts blocking. Cool. Kind of late. Duck it to the first thing and try to come up before he can get the second thing. Boom. Okay, buddy. He's not gonna let it happen. That's the one thing I hate about strike recording, is you have to be standing at the exact range you were standing at when you recorded it. There is another setting that avoids that, but you know, it is what it is. But as you can tell, ducking into the first kick and then trying to come up actually makes you more vulnerable to the second attack. So you take more damage. Even though ducking might not take as much damage. Like as you can tell, the spin kick, none of it really hurt. But if the spin kick is done at the correct range, it still pushes you out of range. So that's still a real thing. I'm not sure why he's only doing it when I'm too close and not when I'm too far. Not when I'm actually at the range where it can hit. He's doing it too close. I don't know what's going on. Okay, see, it still pushes you. That's what I wanted to show. But you don't have any. You can't stand up and fire back. Like there's no option other than to stand up, take the kick, and trade it for a low kick. So ducking is not viable. And over time, ducking will still eventually get you if you get rocked to the body before. So ducking is not viable. Even though ducking does mitigate the damage on the first kick, it is not viable for trying to counter this Taekwondo series of kicks. So just get that out of your mind altogether. Okay, so with ducking out of the picture, let's take a look at what happens when you try to backdash the strikes. So we're gonna get him in the range where he can land them. We're gonna make him go boop, boop, have him block and walk out on the exit. Cool. So we're at the range where he can land, and we're gonna try to backdash the first kick. It's gonna be hard because playback is kind of quirky, so you know how that works. We're gonna see the kick, backdash. Okay, you really can't see it in the backdash, but you can't do it on reaction. But we're gonna try to get close. We're gonna backdash. It's a little delayed because just the inputs in this game aren't the fastest. Like they're not the most fast. If you're trying to wait till you see something to press a button, it's not gonna happen. It's not like Mortal Kombat where you can see the strike, then press block and fuzzy guard something. It's not gonna happen. Reactions in this game are pretty much non-existent because of the amount of frames it takes. Just the input lag on top of the frames that a lot of things take just kind of make it to where it's impossible, right? So backdashing, not really an option. Even when you do get the backdash off, you're still a little bit at odds with the attack. I tried to cheat. I tried to nudge myself in the range and then backdash immediately. Okay, cool. So I backdash, but I still kind of got caught by the foot a little bit. Still taking damage, right? So backdashing might get you out of the way of the second attack, and it might even give you a punish. Let's take a look. We're gonna try to punish off the backdash. No, not with that. Maybe a forward moving straight. Maybe a forward moving straight. So we're gonna back that. We're gonna get in close. We're gonna backdash and try to forward moving straight. No, not from that range. Shit. But from about right there, you can probably get him off. And he is set to block. You gotta remember that. He is set to block. at his earliest convenience, and you can get that straight off. So you might even be able to get a combo out of it if you can get out of the way fast enough. Let him get his most of his stamina back. Try it again. Oh shit! I came back in too quick. Come on, buddy. See, it's hard to do because not only do you have to know it's coming, but you have to predict it and you have to get out of the way fast enough. So there is a punish there. The backdash out of the way of the first kick does lead to a punish, but it is very specific. Like, you do have to be very timing specific on that situation. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to throw a head kick. I wanted to throw the body kick. Let's try this again. Okay. Oh god, getting obliterated. Yeah, okay, so let me try to get him in the range. Oh god, he's getting obliterated. My body is yours at this point. Okay, cool. I was too far away. I was too far away and also in the wrong stance. Trying to get the son of a bitch. Like, walking in this game, like stepping in the range is so like hard to tell when you're gonna be at the exact range that the recording was done from. So you kind of have to really like, okay, I was too far away before the kick even came out. Oh jeez Louise. Anyway, you saw the punish. It is very possible, but highly unlikely, because the inputs you require to backdash the kick, when you see the kick coming, you kind of have to predict that the kick is coming, be at the exact range you need to be at, like the max distance to get away from the body kick and make the second kick miss, and then immediately dash in with the forward moving straight uppercut. So it is possible at the highest levels, but like I said, you have to make the guess that the body kick is coming. You have to make the guess that the spinning kick is coming exactly when you think it is. And when you see the spinning kick miss, because it's going to whiff off the backdash, you have to immediately dash in with straight uppercut. So that is one viable punish, but like I said, it's highly unlikely because it's so complicated. But we're going to go back into it, and we're going to look at another option, which is just to sidestep the body kick, the second kick, because you're not sidestepping the first kick. You know, you're not sidestepping the lead body kick and getting the punish off. It's not happening. So what you're going to do is you're looking for that boom, boom, and then you're going to sidestep and then immediately try to punish, right? So you're going to take the kick, block, sidestep, punish. You get to the outside, right? Boom. Oh shit, it didn't let me move. Okay, apparently my inputs are just bugged. Boom, boom. You can't get to the outside, and if you get the straight off at exactly the perfect window, you will get the straight in the uppercut. So that's max damage punish right there. So you do have that option. As you saw in the video I showed you, though, if the timing or the lag compensates for a little bit of it, geez, man, it won't let me sidestep. What? Oh, he tracked me. That was weird. Pop, pop. You have to go inside. So if there's like a little window of lag between when you start your attacks, it will not let you punish. The punish will be blocked. He will recover. As he's recovering there. He recovered there with the uppercut. On the uppercut, he was recovered already. Let me back out until he gets his stamina back. Try it again. Step out. I don't know why I keep getting the micro jump. I'm holding the button to get the full jump, but I'm getting the micro jump. Bop, bop. So sometimes, like, if you don't come around fast enough, you get one or the other strikes. So it's rare that you get both. But if you get both, it's a max damage punish. Unless, of course, you know, like I said, you don't get both. Let's try this again with him going. We're going to reward him throwing the kick, spinning, and then block. Oh, come on, buddy. I was holding the body button when I hit. Oh, come on, game. Blocking and moving. He was out of stamina, so that's, you know, it looked trash, but he did the thing. Oh, I caught the kick. Interesting. I couldn't catch it earlier. Blocking and moving. He still kind of gets out of the way. Okay. I don't know if I tried to sidestep earlier. Oop. Okay. Apparently I can't sidestep with just throwing the gas kick. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why my character keeps getting the micro jump. I guess the best bet is to not use your left stick for the dash. I don't know if anybody else is using your movement stick to dash, because if you're using movement stick to dash, it's not gonna work as well. You gotta use your right stick to dash. As you saw there, for no reason, I just missed the first kick. And if you try to jump early, you will get hit by the kick. So you have to like jump when you see it on screen. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. So you already kind of saw the punish. All right, so you saw there that the sidestepping the second kick into the straight punch uppercut is max damage, but there is some recovery weirdness that happens there, where sometimes the AI, sometimes not the AI, but sometimes the other player can get their block up as they're still mid-spin, and they can block the straight punch, but sometimes the uppercut will still do enough damage to their arms to break through. So it's not consistent, but it is the max damage punish if you land the straight punch and the uppercut coming out, or straight punch and anything really, but the straight punch uppercut is fast coming out of the sidestep. So sidestepping, straight punch, uppercut, it just works good against side kicks. So it's a good way to punish side kicks, especially if you straight punch. If you dash off straight punch and the opponent thinks you're going straight hook, they'll duck into the uppercut. So it kind of puts them in a situation where they have a mix-up that they have to deal with. So it kind of that's the punish for it. But what you saw with the frames and all the other things that we talked about to this point, you have to make that decision long before you ever get hit by the body kick. But it's good to know that once the body kick hits you, if you block and then sidestep to the outside of the spin kick, you can get the straight and then the uppercut off. So you just have to go to the outside of the kick. If the person's in the open stance, that's going to be down towards your feet, or down towards your personal feet. Like if we're both in the orthodox stance, it's down towards your feet. But if he's southpaw, it's going to be up on the screen to go to the outside. Because look, basically, if he spins, let's go ahead and make him spin. Boom. So if you're trying to get to the outside of that, that's going to be. Well, I guess I got to be a little bit further away. Cool. It's going to be on that side, right? That's the outside. Play back on. Let's go ahead and get to the outside. Boom. That's the outside of that. So that's kind of what you're looking for, because you can't go to the inside of that kick because it tracks for whatever reason. If he throws that from the range they're supposed to throw it from, and I go to the inside, it'll still hit me. It's kind of hard to do this in playback mode, but you know, here's what it is. It hit me there. See, there you go. If you go to the inside, you're still getting hit. No way to get around it to the inside, but going to the outside, you get around it. That's something they added in a later patch that wasn't there when the game first came out. That's some new shit that they added to give you a little bit of a way to create an angle. But as you saw, the recovery is still pretty good even when you create the angle. So let's go back, go to recording. We're gonna make him throw that kick. We're gonna make him throw it forward moving. That way we kind of have a little bit more range and a little bit more time to adjust to it. And we're gonna make him block. So we throw it forward moving, and boom, there we go. Let's go to playback, sidestep it. Jeez, man, come on. I don't understand why my sidestep doesn't come out that often. Boom. So you can land. For some reason, coming out like when you try to combo, some reason he tracks faster. I don't know what it is. So there we go. Laying that on a recovery. Boom, max damage. That's what you're looking for. So we talked about that. We demonstrated that a little bit, but we're gonna break off into basically that's the basic, like the best punish you can get. But we're gonna break into what all of this succumbs to, what all of this like wraps up to and ends up being. So you end up in a situation where you're facing an opponent that basically has the advantage that he can lunge from super far and do something crazy, and because his move levels are warranting him to do this, because he's not using that much stamina to use either of these kicks on block, on hit, or whip, that move level does increase the use of these kicks. The utility is increased by the move level and by the overall range that these strikes have, because that's max range. If you're looking at the distance that the character is covering, that's max range. Throwing a lead body kick from the camera angle swap into landing, that's max distance. Like where it will hit from, that's as far back as anything can hit. So it doesn't hit from there. That's not it. So let's get him about right here. And I don't think he'll hit from there, but let me get Aldo off the fence. It's kind of driving me crazy. Okay, calm down. So max distance for this kick, for any kick, is going to be from about right there. Ah, come on, man. He was like right at the cusp of it. It's hard to get to, like, put it like this. The characters move in a way where they don't land in the right ranges. So like if I take a step back and throw this kick, I'm at the range to hit. But if I take 1, 2, 3 steps back, I'm out of range altogether. 3 steps is out of range. 3 steps from like touching, it's out of range. 1, 2, 3, out of range. But 1, 2, nudge yourself forward a little bit, and now you're at max range. Weird, right? Like realistically, if this game was done differently, 1 step would move you to the range where you can no longer land punches, but you can land kicks. 2 steps will move you to the range where you can land whatever is supposed to land from this range, like 4 moving punches, but you don't actually land 4 moving punches from that place. So 1 step back, 4 moving punches, boom. Let's get him max min distance again. 1 step. Well, actually, he did like 1 stutter step and slide. 1, 2, and then 3. This should be where moving kicks land, right? They don't. That's just, they don't. Your character moves too far out of range for them to work. but the range in general is pretty far. So let's go ahead and look at what the actual range is. So we're gonna move him 1 step back. That's out of a range. 2 steps back, out of range. 3 steps back, out of a range. And I think, let's go 1 more step. So that's still not body kick range, but let's nudge him forward. 1, 2, 3, I think. And now we're at max kick range. It's crazy that you gotta go through all that to get the max kick range, but that's the maximum kick range. Where I just showed you from is as far as anything in the game will land from. That's off 3 steps back. That was still within the range. So let's go ahead and go back 1 more step, and now let's nudge ourselves forward. Well, actually, let's do it from the jump. 1 step back, 2 steps back, 3 steps back. So we're technically at where it will land from moving, and then let's go to out of range. Actually, I gotta do this again. 1 step from. So this is basically like where elbows will hit from. Like little small, tiny ass punches will land from there. Take a step back. Slightly bigger punches will land. You get your full jab animation there. Take 1 more step back. Now you get your full jab animation, but it doesn't reach. Got you. So that's where forward punches will hit you from. Take 1 more step back. Forward punches will not hit from here, but forward kicks will. 1 more step back. Nothing will land from here. But that's not the maximum distance. So you move right here, and then right here. And now, even though it looks like it's pretty similar to where you were before, it's kind of like pretty close to it, but it's like a step out of where it was before. So like if you go 1 step, hold on, we'll get real close. Get real close. We'll get real close. We're gonna go 1 step back, 2 steps back, 3 steps back, and then we're gonna take 1 hyper step back. Well, no, I'm the wrong character. Make all of them move back that half step. 1 hyper step back. Now you're at the maximum range. Like kicks will still land from here, even though that's max range. That's outside of, that's 1 step outside of where moving kicks should hit from, but it works. So it gives you that large bit of distance. And because you have such a great amount of distance, it opens up that mix up. Because now you have to see the attack, know that it's going to be a spinning kick. Know that it's going to be the body kick, and then try to react to that. Because he can still throw the forward moving side kicks, whatever. He can throw any sort of thing from that same distance. Because that's just the distance where it's completely safe to throw these kicks, right? You can throw just about anything from there. So get him close, move him, step back, step back, step back, stop him, hyper step, forward moving body kick. It almost hits, but the other body kick will hit, guaranteed. So the mix up that presents is now you have to really, you can't think about anything, you can't think about him encroaching the distance normally, because he has such a gap between you and him where he can just lunge into you at any given moment, and it puts you in a situation where you have to react to this gap of distance, which is uncommon. Like in a normal fighting game, this far away, nothing hits. Like if you're playing Mortal Kombat, you're this far away, the only thing that'll hit is projectiles. But when a person's this distance, you know it's a projectile, so you know to jump over the projectile or block the projectile or fire your own. So you're at a place where you know you're safe from just about everything, but then UFC 3 comes into play and it's like, nope, lunging at you with a body kick. And it's not what you expect, right? From that range, it's not what you expect. Because the range is so incredible, like there's so much distance that can happen from. It gives him the room to just come at you like a fucking spider monkey, because he's got so much space. So now you have to think about that, and you have to think about your counter. I showed you a duck counter earlier. You duck into the body kick, you kind of can mitigate the damage. It's really not viable. And if you try to duck at this range, you're putting yourself in a situation where he now has the mix up to where if you duck, we're gonna record him ducking. Oh, actually I can't because he's him. So we're gonna record him throwing the forward moving spinning head kick, right? Boom. That's what he's throwing. We're gonna go back to playback. We're gonna get him at that range. If you duck, that kick is gonna retarget mid spin and hit you in the head. Boom. So it puts you in that situation where that's the mix up now. It's either gonna be a long range lunging body kick, boom, or it's gonna be him waiting for you to try to react. You go to duck and foul right in the face. So it leaves you, the defensive player, with 2 options. From this distance, your best bet is to just keep moving back as soon as you see a strike coming, or backdash when you see something coming, or You can't sidestep, because if you sidestep the lead body kick, it will hit you. So play back that. Try to sidestep the body kick, you're getting hit. I mean, it doesn't look like it hit you for much, but it still hits you, and you, well, let me go ahead and record it with him blocking after he does it. So boom, he hits, and he starts blocking and circling the direction you came from. Play back on. Okay, cool. Play back on, sidestep it. Shit, I did the wrong button. Let's sidestep it, try to counter. You can get the punch off, but that's all you're getting. Unless you go body, which you have to mix up now. It does open you up to mix it up, especially if your opponent's been blocking his head coming out of everything before. It gives you that, right? But it also puts you in a situation where if he doesn't do that, if he comes at you with, say, the full combo. Well, I didn't want to go ahead. I want to go body. But say he comes at you with the full combo. Boom. And you try to sidestep it before you see it, right? You see the body kick. You're like, I'm gonna sidestep this. Full combo comes, and now you're in a position where you can't actually counter effectively. So you're put in a place where your best bet is to wait until you know what kick it is, either block low or block high, depending on what kick it is. And then once you get the block on the body kick, if you know it's this, you get the block, then sidestep before the spin kick, get the combo off, or block both kicks and let him push you back to the fence, which there is no recover. Like I showed you earlier, if you block both kicks, there is no counter off that. So it puts you in a situation where the mix-up is don't duck, because if you duck, it could be a body kick or a side kick. If it's a body kick, you take less damage, but if it's a side kick, you get hit in the face. Or sidestep, but if it's the full combo, you don't get the punish, but if it's just the body kick, you get the punish. Or you backdash both kicks and you get the punish. So it's like you can either backdash, get the full punish, block the first kick, then sidestep to get the second punish, or just block both kicks and get pushed back to the fence. And there's really no option there. Or to block one kick and then throw the leg kick. So you have options, but your options are much more intricate and much more specific to the situation than the opponent. The opponent can just go, he could just go body kick, spin kick, and just do this the whole fight. And he doesn't have to think about anything. He just has to do this, and you have to make all the decisions. So that's why I said that this is a problem in the way it's integrated, because the way it's in the game, it has incredible range. As you saw, the one kick can be stationary, the second kick could be moving, the first kick could be moving, the second kick could be stationary. Like, it's got so much variability to it that it puts you in a situation where he's not losing anything for doing it, because he's got max stamina. Both kicks take less stamina than they do for anybody else to throw them. So he's really not losing out in the situation. He can only be punished by those few punishes I showed you. One of them is min damage punish, like that low kick. That's the minimal situational punish that just gets him off his feet, pisses him off a little bit, makes him want to redo it. So that's the minimal punish there. I mean, it does open it up to condition him to try that again. And when he tries it again this time, instead of doing the punish you did before, you block, sidestep, get him a max damage punish, and then that kind of warrants him off of it. But like I said, the recovery for the max damage punish is still kind of iffy. Sometimes both strikes land, sometimes they don't, because the recovery is just too fast, to be honest. Recovery on whiff in this game in general, recovery to moving and recovery to block in this game are just too fast for almost every strike, especially on whiff. Even on hit, in some situations, the recovery to block is still a little high. Still a little good. The recovery to block is still pretty good on pretty much everything blocked. So like on block, the defensive person is losing always in this game. The only situation in the game where the person who blocks is at an advantage is when somebody throws a rear overhand from the open stance, from the close stance. From the close stance, somebody throws an overhand, you block the overhand, throw a lead hook, you're actually at an advantage. That's the only situation in the game where you're plus frames. Plus frames means you can land or you can start something while he's still recovering. So your plus frames, if somebody throws an overhand, you block it and throw a lead hook. As the block comes out, your plus frames, your overhand will hit him before he can get his hand back up from the overhand. Your lead hook will hit him. I can show you that if you want, but that's the only situation where your plus frame. So being that what it is, let me go ahead and record it for an overhand. I'll show you that real quick. So play back on, make it throw the overhand, plus frames. Oh, I didn't throw the punch fast enough. Shit, you gotta like really throw the punch. It might not, there it is. You saw it hit, but it doesn't really do much damage, but it's there. Maybe it looks better. Let me do it off the stationary overhand. It might look better. And he does have the haymaker, so it does look a little different. Pop, Okay, cool. So play back on. Go ahead and throw that boot. Bop. Hold up. He got the block back up. See, there you go. Plus frames. That's the only situation in the game where your recovery is in favor of the person coming off the block. And it's very situational. It's very fast. You have to know it's coming. You have to be ready for it. You have to do it. As soon as the punch is like elevating, you have to be already holding block and then release block to throw the hook. As soon as the punch is like reaching its apex, you already have thrown your hook. So that's the only situation in the game that's plus on frame. So every other situation, you're at odds with the recovery, you're at odds with the framework. And that is a part of the problem, because recovery is the way it is, because move levels is the way it is, because moving strikes are the way they are. You're put in a situation where it's not integrated well. To me, if you've thrown a stationary kick, you should not be able to throw a moving anything after. Just to me, it's so unlikely that you will pick up your leg, throw a kick, and then dart forward and gather momentum. And if you do, you have done something that most people will not do. Like people will move, like they'll chase with punches, but once they throw something that forces them to plant their feet and throw, they're not moving again afterwards. But this game just lets that be wide open, and it leads to the game having some unrealistic situations going on, because that pushing and pulling with the moving, that shouldn't be the way it is. That's just not the way it works in reality. Go outside right now, put on your best kicking shoes, put on some shin guards and headgear so you don't hurt yourself, and throw a moving lead roundhouse kick, and then throw a moving spinning rear kick coming out of that lead roundhouse kick, and just feel how not normal that would be, right? Even if you do it in slow motion, just feel how not normal that is, and then think about doing that in full speed towards a target. That's just not likely. So moving presents a problem because it's too wide open. To me, like I said, if I throw anything stationary, it should force my next thing to be stationary, because I shouldn't be able to move past when I've already stopped moving. I've already planted. I've grounded myself. And then you look at the framework. Moving, should moving be faster than stationary, or should moving be as close in speed to stationary as it is? I don't know. I don't think that moving strikes should be that close in speed as well, because they're pretty close in speed. Like, if there's a reason for why you're moving, it should be maybe damage. I don't know. Speed, to me, because frames equate to speed. Speed, I don't know. Stationary, if I feel like I can throw a standing straight punch faster than I could throw a straight punch that's aiming to cover distance and hit a target. But then again, it depends on how much distance I'm covering. If I'm only moving one step out, that punch is not that much slower. But if I'm moving a long distance and trying to hit somebody who's really far away, it's gonna take a longer amount of time for me to get to them. But in this game, the way frames feel, they feel like moving from any amount of distance is the same amount of frames as it is from moving from small distance. So we'll take a look at that real quick. I'm gonna show you that before I depart on you. Boom, straight punch. Okay, so let's take him a step back. Well, actually, that's a moving range. Moving range, boom, okay. Now let's move out of range. Let's get in close. One range, well, actually, I did the wrong input. One range, two range, moving. Let's get close again. One range, two range, three range, moving. The punch comes out at around the same amount of time. It just comes out at the same amount of time, regardless of how far you're moving from. And that's the same way with kicks. If you throw a stationary body kick from the range, mid-range, you move back, throw this kick from that range. Let's go ahead and move back. 2. Throw a kick from that range. Let's move back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move in a step, and I'm gonna put those on top of each other so that you can see that they're not that different in how much distance the character covers in the amount of time it takes. So, like I said, move levels, frames, the way moving strikes work in this game, all those things kind of come together and make the perfect storm of just meta that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and puts you in a situation where you're at the mercy of your opponent. Like, you're at the mercy of your opponent. You have to make the read in advance. Inputs in this game aren't exactly 1-to-1. They're not fast. I don't know what the millisecond lag is between press a button and see it on screen. I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know how to calculate that. I don't have the tools required to calculate that. But my guess is it's not very fast. And then there's things like defensive stuff takes a lot longer than offensive stuff. Like, I press punch, maybe like a second, maybe like, I don't know, 1 banana, 2 banana, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe like a quarter of a second after my finger leaves the button, the punch is out. But with the backdash, it's a little bit later, like it's a little bit slower. Like, defense doesn't feel like it's snappy enough to really equate for the input lag in the game. Defense is a little late. It's not fast. Like defense takes a lot of time, but then you got other things like recovery that take no time. Like you throw a head kick and you're already blocking midway through the head kick's animation. Like, let me see, you whiff a head kick over somebody's head, you're blocking halfway through. But then you go to like sidestep after you land something. Like boom, you hit him, you try to move off, you can't. You know, or you throw a punch to the body, you try to hurry up and circle, you can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your character has to almost stop moving, except for like to the head. Like you're pretty good. That's pretty snappy because you press the movement after the punch lands. Probably something that a lot of people don't use a lot of. Get on out. Because I mean, realistically, unless he throws something straight, which I don't even think the straight punch would work, right? Like if he blocks and then throws straight, throws straight. Nah, he actually won't. So let me see. Record it on. Let me see. Will he do it? Let me record. 1, 2, straight. Play back. Pop, straight. Okay, cool. So it does give you an advantage there. Actually, he threw it right on time, so he hit it. So okay, cool. You do have that as an option. You go 1, 2, and then boom, you're out of there. But it only works on straight punches. If he throws a hook, I'm shit out of luck. And a lot of players do throw rear hooks in that this framework there is pretty accommodating. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty accommodating. So you do have that as an option. A lot of people don't use it a lot because it does take a whole bunch of max stamina. Like movement, the balance between movement and stamina is way too in favor of stamina being eaten by your movement. But just the generic walking movement is completely free. Actual evasive defensive maneuvering that actually leads to success is taxed. But just freely walking away and running in circles and dashing off, all of that's taxed, and it's taxed probably a little too hard to make it viable. Reason why people don't do things is because it's just not viable. To me, the game is slowest where it should be fastest. It should be fast right here in the pocket. Like where we're moving and tight, making cutting angles, that's where it should be quickest. But the game is pretty slow there because you have to kind of play around your stamina. You want to land a body shot, you know, you have limited options. Like your opponent tries to throw a straight punch like he's doing right now. You're going to block for a couple seconds, go for a straight. You know, you try to punish, you got to get to the outside of the punch, come around it. It's pretty slow there. Oh, shit. God dang it. I'm trying to wait for the punch and then go to the outside of the punch and then boom, body shot. Pretty slow there, right? Even if he goes punch and then he body block, right? Put him on playback. Oh, shit. See how fast he recovered? Let's go ahead and make him whiff that punch. I'm trying to make him miss it. Jesus. It's so fast. Okay, cool. I got out of the way of it, but I ain't, boom. He gets his block up basically right after the punch lands. So, you know, like this is where the game should be the fastest. Like making these little snap decisions in the pocket should be quick. That punch off the sway should be faster. That way you have a reason to see something coming, sway it, hit him with the body shot, get out. Like this should be quick, snappy. The recovery is pretty good because you're already blocking as you're coming back from the punch, but the punch itself is so slow that if he's not standing still, that doesn't work. If he's walking even a little bit, let me go ahead and break the clinch. If he throws the straight punch, I'm gonna go ahead and record. Throw a straight punch, body block. Oh, I mean, make him walk. Make him walk. Make him throw the straight punch and then walk. Cool. Play back on, straight punch, walk. He's gone. 8 years before you ever get that punch off, he's gone. Look at that. Gone. That's where the game should be fast. Making these in the pocket decisions, that's where it should be fast. But it's incredibly slow there because things don't work the way they would work in reality. Like if I saw a jab coming, got the outside jab, hit him with a body shot, that's quick. But in this game, that's slow. That's where you're at risk. In the pocket. Like so there's a lot of things that are wrong overall, but the discussion of this video was to talk about the Taekwondo issue. People were giving me suggestions in the comment section as if I don't know what to do in the situation in the game. It wasn't that I don't know what to do. I explicitly cut out the parts where I sidestepped the punch, I sidestepped the kick and landed the 2 punches, or I ducked the body kick and tried to counter. I cut all that out because it didn't service the purpose I was trying to demonstrate in the video. Because the punish was there, I did it several times. I knocked him down with the punish. I even left that in the video. But in between the punish, the times he threw that kick, he was throwing nothing else between those gaps. So he would just stand still, run around in circles between those gaps. As you saw by the amount of strikes landed, I landed more strikes than he did. And somehow I threw more significant strikes than he did. I threw jab straights, low kicks, and sidestep straight uppercuts the whole fight. Didn't throw a single spin kick, didn't throw a single overhand. I threw jab straights, lead hooks, uppercuts, low kicks, but everything I was doing was counting as significant. But he was throwing this series over and over. I put 10 clips of him throwing that same kick successfully. So 10 times of him throwing 2 kicks, which is 20 kicks successfully. And I showed him throwing the kick unsuccessfully twice. So just extrapolating that, he threw 30 kicks and he used less stamina than me. I gassed from sidestepping and blocking and trying to avoid what he did. But because of all the things I talked about, he was at an advantage doing that over and over and over. He had no reason not to do that. I could have caught the kick and got for a takedown, or just avoided striking altogether and went straight for the takedown. But that's not my style. That's not what I do. And that's not the point I wanted to make. So we wanted to look at the reasonings and the deeper understanding to give you a little touch of the knowledge that I have when it comes to this situation. Just kind of impart a little bit of that on you, show you all the different wrinkles to this game, because I tried to, like I said, I was in the comment section talking to people, and I tried to respond to that. And then as I was responding, I was like, shit, man, if I started talking now, I got to go through the range. I got to go through where this works. I got to go through how the move level is affected. I got to go through the framework. I got to go through what defense is available. I got to go through what also is happening on the mix-up level. So I was like, it's just impossible for me to talk about all that in that one comment. So make a video. It's going to take a while to edit. So when this video comes out, who knows? It should come out today. I'm working on it as of 12 p.m. on Wednesday. So it should technically come out today. It's going to take a lot of cutting, a lot of chopping, a lot of layering. So we'll see. But until next time, I'm Brian, the Apex Gamer Channel. Hope you guys learned something from this. And for all those people who come to my comment section saying silly shit like you don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't know nothing about the game, bro. I can tell you for a fact I have more experience on this game than anybody in the free world. So I played this game for a lot longer than anybody will ever know. Put it like that. Played a lot more matches than anybody would ever imagine, and I know more about the details, the finite details of this game than you can comprehend. So do with that what you will. Do some fact checking if you need to prove any of that stuff that I said. Look at it for yourself. Use your eyes, use your ears, use the information that's available to you. The game itself, practice mode, the frame document that's on the blog site, all the various blog posts, the forum site. Use all of that stuff and use that to make a comprehensive decision before you decide to comment on my video and say something goofy, because in most times I will humor you and give you a response, but sometimes it's just funny. So we'll move from there. If you're a friend of the channel and you come by and watch all my videos, I appreciate you. If you sat through this one, I appreciate you for doing so. If you want to see this channel do better and you want to see videos be seen by more people, to keep it honest with you, when YouTubers ask for likes and videos, it's because the only way their subscribers see their videos is if people are liking them, and if the people who like them are also subscribed and have clicked that bell. So if the bell isn't clicked and you don't like the video and it only gets 100 views, and you come back a week later and you're like, wow, this YouTuber deserves so much more credit, man, this person's not getting the shine they need, they putting all this work in. It's because not enough people are liking their videos, not enough people are hitting the bell, not enough people are subscribed, their subscriber base isn't watching their videos. So with all that said, YouTube will not show their videos to a wider band of audience, because the audience that they have acquired aren't doing the things they need to do to engage with the video correctly to help it to spread. So you play a bigger part in someone's success on YouTube as a viewer than they do as a creator. Someone can create the best content ever made, but if no one likes it, and no one who subscribed to the channel watches it, and no one hits the bell icon, no one else outside of them will see it. So just use that information with all your dealings of your favorite YouTubers. If you're a person like me who watches small YouTubers and big YouTubers, remember, if you're not clicking the like, if you're not clicking the bell to be subscribed to them to get the notifications, you're not helping them grow. You're just watching. And views alone are good, but if the same 20 people watch the video but only 5 people like it, those same 20 people are the only ones who will see the next video, and those same 5 likes will be the only ones that get. So do with that what you will. Be good to all your YouTubers. Be good to people around you. Because it just comes back. It's just, you're paying it forward, man. You're paying it forward, because nobody gets anywhere in this world without putting out the energy that they want to receive. So if you put out good energy, it's more easily to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? You don't get shit on for being a good person as much as people think you do. The better you are to people, the better they are to you. So remember that. Move forward in life, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more questions about more deeper level things that have to do with striking in this game, because like I said, I know everything there is to know about this game. Of course, there's some like finite details that I choose to just block out of my mind, but if you ever need to know anything about the game, I'm always available to answer questions. And when people ask me questions in the comment section, legit questions, I usually respond with legit answers. So do with that what you will. See you guys on the next one.